Kenyan woman, beautiful in the way that survives trauma. Post-twin body she's been taught to hate. Wearing an expensive dress that doesn't fit right anymore. Hair that used to be her crown, now just there. Eyes that used to shine, now just open. She's on the bathroom floor, not crying, past crying, just breathing, barely. The door opens, not her husband. Two small faces, twin girls, 10 years old, identical, beautiful, brown skin glowing, eyes like their mother's used to be. "Mama," Makena doesn't look up. "Mama, we're here." "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not enough." "You are, Mama. You've always been enough." "We don't care what he says. We never did." Makena finally looks up, sees her daughters, really sees them, and something breaks, or maybe something heals. Hard to tell the difference sometimes. "How long have you been?" "Always, Mama. We've always been here." Footsteps in the hallway, heavy, male, impatient. "Makena, the guests are waiting. Pull yourself together and—" He appears in the doorway, sees her on the floor, sees the twins with her, his face, disgust mixed with annoyance. "This is exactly what I'm talking about, this weakness. Get up, you're embarrassing me." The twins stand, together, between him and their mother, 10 years old and already done with him. "No." "What did you say?" "She said no. We're done." Before we go any further, I need you to understand something. This story is about maternal mental health, about body shaming after childbirth, about emotional abuse, and about children who become their mother's protectors because their father became their abuser. Welcome to Afro-Korean Real Tales TV. If you're watching this and you've ever felt like you weren't enough after your body changed, after you had children, after someone made you feel small, this story is for you. And it's going to be hard, but it's also going to show you something important. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because Makena's story isn't just about what he took from her. It's about what her daughters gave back. Hit that subscribe button right now. Comment where you're watching from, and if you feel comfortable, comment one thing you want to tell anyone who's forgotten they're enough. We're building something here, a space where we remember together. Let me tell you about Makena, about the twins named Ayana and Amani, and about the man who built his empire on breaking the woman who loved him. Makena Wanjiru met Kang Taman at an international business conference in Nairobi. She was 28, director of operations for an infrastructure development firm, keynote speaker that day on sustainable urban planning in East Africa. She wore yellow, her power color, the color that made her feel like walking sunlight. Her natural hair was perfectly shaped. Her confidence was the kind you can't fake. Taman watched her speak for 45 minutes without checking his phone once. Afterward, he waited 20 minutes in line just to introduce himself. "You made infrastructure sound like poetry," he said in perfect English. She laughed. "It is poetry, just with better structural support." He was handsome in the Seoul way, tailored, polished, the kind of handsome that came with money and maintenance. 32, CEO of a construction conglomerate with mafia roots he'd supposedly legitimized. He asked her to dinner. She said yes. They were married within 2 years. She moved to Seoul, kept working remotely for 6 months before he suggested, gently, lovingly, that maybe she didn't need to work so hard anymore, that maybe she could focus on their future, on family. She got pregnant with twins 4 months later. That's when everything changed. The pregnancy was hard. Twins meant double everything, doubled exhaustion, double sickness, double weight gain. Her body did what bodies do when creating 2 humans simultaneously. It expanded, it stretched, it transformed. Cayman's face when he looked at her started changing too. Small comments at first. Maybe you should walk more. My mother never gained this much weight with my brother and me. Korean women don't usually show this much. After the twins were born, two perfect girls, Ayana and Amani, with their mother's brown skin and their father's eyes, the comments got louder. When are you gonna lose the weight? You can't wear that anymore. It doesn't fit right. My business associates are having a dinner party. Maybe you should stay home. You're still recovering. Recovering became the excuse he used for months. Then it became, you're still not back to yourself. Then it became, I can't take you places looking like that. The postpartum depression hit like a truck. Makena, who had given keynote speeches to rooms of 500 people, could barely get out of bed some mornings. Who had planned sustainable cities, couldn't plan her own day. Taemin didn't believe in depression. Just exercise more, just eat less, just try harder. So she tried. God, she tried. Restricted her eating until the hunger was a constant companion. Exercised until her body ached. Weighed herself 3 times a day. Watched the number like it was a test she was failing. She developed patterns that had names she wouldn't learn until much later. Eating disorder behaviors, anxiety spirals, depression that went deeper than postpartum and settled into her bones like it planned to stay. The twins grew, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3. And Makena shrank. Not her body, though she'd managed to lose most of the weight, then more, then concerning amounts more. Her spirit shrank, her light dimmed. The woman who used to wear yellow and give speeches became a woman who wore black and stayed quiet. Taemin's business thrived. He became more prominent in Seoul's social circles, no longer the former mafia CEO, but a legitimate businessman, philanthropist, family man. The family man who kept his wife at home, who brought the twins to public events but not their mother, who smiled for photographs with his beautiful mixed daughters and never explained why his wife wasn't in the pictures. Makena's not feeling well, he'd say. You know how it is with mothers. They sacrifice so much. He made her absence look noble, made her isolation look like choice. The twins noticed everything. Children always do. They noticed their father's smile disappearing when he looked at their mother, noticed him checking her plate at dinner, making comments about portions, noticed their mother getting smaller, not just her body, her whole presence getting quieter, dimmer, less there. Ayana asked once when she was 7, "Mama, why don't you come to our school events?" Makena, who had been staring at nothing, "Your father thinks it's better if he takes you. I'm not feeling well these days, baby." "But you're never well," Amani said, not accusing, just observing, just true. Makena didn't have an answer for that. The twins started protecting her in small ways, standing between their parents when their father's voice got sharp, telling their mother she was beautiful before school every morning like it was a spell that might work if they said it enough times, drawing pictures of the 3 of them, never including their father, and hanging him on the refrigerator. They were 8 when they started recording. Not deliberately at first. Amani had gotten a tablet for her birthday, wanted to make videos like other kids did. But what she captured was their father at dinner, telling their mother, "You've gained weight again. I can see it in your face. I thought we talked about this." And their mother's face, shutting down, going somewhere else while staying in her chair. Amani showed Ayana later. They didn't know what to do with it. They were 8, but they kept it. They kept recording for 2 more years, not constantly, just when things felt bad, when their father's voice got that tone, when their mother's eyes went empty. They were building something without knowing what it was called. Evidence, witness, proof. The twins are 10 now. Makena has forgotten how to recognize love, even from her own daughters, until the night she collapses and everything changes. The night of the breakdown started like every other awful evening. Taemin had a business dinner, important clients. He needed Makena there, just this once, make an effort. She tried, spent 2 hours getting ready. The dress that used to fit now hung wrong. She'd lost too much weight in the wrong places, gained it back in others. Nothing looked right anymore. Nothing felt right. Taemin looked at her when she came downstairs. His face did that thing, the micro-expression of disappointment so quick anyone else would miss it. She never missed it anymore. "That's what you're wearing? I thought, never mind. We're already late. Just try to stay quiet tonight. My clients don't need to know about your situation." Her situation, her body, her depression, her failure to be who she used to be. They went. She stayed quiet, smiled when expected, felt like a ghost at her own life. At dinner, one of the clients' wives, younger, thinner, perfect, said brightly, "Oh, you have twins? You look amazing for having twins. I'm terrified to have kids and lose my body." Taemin laughed, actually laughed. "Well, it affects everyone differently. Some women bounce back. Others, it takes longer." The way he said others while looking at Makena. The wife, oblivious, "Do you work out together? That's so sweet." Makena she's not as disciplined as she used to be. Something cracked in Makena's chest. Not broke, cracks had been forming for years. This was just another one, but somehow this one reached something she'd been protecting, the last small piece of herself that remembered being Makena Wanjiru, who wore yellow and gave speeches and believed she was enough. She excused herself to the bathroom, looked at herself in the mirror, didn't recognize the woman staring back. Thin but wrong, exhausted, older than 38 should look, eyes that had forgotten how to shine. She'd done everything he asked, lost the weight, then more weight, stayed quiet, stayed hidden, stayed small, and he still looked at her like she was the problem. The panic attack started in that restaurant bathroom, chest tightening, breath coming too fast, then not fast enough, room spinning. She gripped the sink, tried to breathe, couldn't. She texted her driver. Taemin didn't let her drive anymore, said she was too anxious, and went home early, alone. Told Taemin she had a migraine. He didn't follow, probably relieved. She got home, sent the twins to bed with their nanny. They had a nanny now, Taemin insisted, said Makena couldn't handle 'em alone in her condition. Made it to her bathroom, the expensive marble bathroom in the expensive penthouse her husband bought to show everyone how successful he was, and collapsed on the floor. Not dramatically, just stopped being able to hold herself up anymore. 10 years of holding herself up, of trying, of failing, of trying again, of believing that if she just got thin enough, quiet enough, perfect enough, he'd look at her the way he used to. She sat on that cold floor and understood with sudden clarity he was never going to look at her that way again, because the way he looked at her had nothing to do with her body. It had to do with his need to control, to diminish, to keep her small so he could feel big.
And she'd let him. God, she'd helped him, starved herself, silenced herself, disappeared herself. For what? For a man who laughed when strangers criticized her at dinner. That's when she heard them. Small feet padding down the hallway. The twins had escaped their nanny somehow. They'd gotten good at that when they needed to check on their mother. They found her on the bathroom floor. And they didn't look surprised. That broke her heart more than anything. They weren't surprised to find her like this. They'd been expecting it, preparing for it. How long had they been watching her fall apart? "Mama?" Ayana's voice, so small, so careful. Makena couldn't speak, couldn't look up. just shook her head. Both twins came in, sat on either side of her, Ayana's small hand on her arm, Amani leaning against her shoulder. "We're here, Mama," Amani whispered. "We're always here." "I'm sorry," Makena managed. "I'm so sorry. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not—" "Stop," Ayana's voice, firm, 10 years old and firm. "Stop saying that." "It's true. Your father is wrong," Amani finished. "He's wrong about you, Mama. He's always been wrong." Makena finally looked up, looked at her daughters, really looked at them. They were crying. When had they started crying? "We see you, Mama," Ayana said. "We've always seen you. You're beautiful. You're smart. You used to give speeches and plan cities and wear yellow all the time. You were so happy." "I wasn't." "You were," Amani insisted. "Before him, you were the happiest person. Your name means happy, remember? Grandmother told us. Makena, the happy one." Makena's breath caught. She'd forgotten. God, she'd forgotten her own name meant happiness. "You're still that person," Ayana said. "You're just scared because he makes you scared. But Mama," she took her mother's face in her small hands, "we're not scared of him, and you don't have to be either. We'll protect you." "You're 10 years old." "So," Amani said, "we're still here. We've always been here. Even when you couldn't see us because you were so sad, we were here. We've been waiting." "Waiting for what?" The twins looked at each other, some silent twin communication, then back at their mother. "For you to remember you're Makena, the happy one, our Mama, not his wife." Something shifted deep in Makena's chest where the cracks had been forming. They didn't break. They opened, let light in. She looked at her daughters, these two perfect humans she'd made, who looked like her, who had her strength even when she'd forgotten she had any, who had been there all along, waiting, watching, protecting her the only way 10-year-olds could, by remembering her when she forgot herself. Footsteps in the hallway. Taemin is home, and everything is about to change. Taemin's footsteps in the hallway were distinctive, heavy, impatient, the sound of a man who owned everything in his path and was annoyed something dared be out of place. The twins heard him first. Their bodies went tense against their mothers. "He's home," Amani whispered. "Don't let him—" Ayana started, but he was already in the doorway. Looking down at the three of them on the bathroom floor, his wife collapsed, his daughters comforting her, the perfect image of everything he'd tried to prevent, them choosing her. "What is this?" His voice cold. "Makena, get up. This is ridiculous. You're making a scene for the children." The twins didn't move. "We're not children," Ayana said quietly. "Not anymore." Taemin's eyes narrowed. "Go to your room, now. Your mother and I need to talk." "No," Amani, just as quiet, just as firm. "Excuse me?" "We said no." Ayana stood up, pulled her mother up with her, Makena rising on shaky legs, held up by her 10-year-old daughter. Taemin's face did something complicated, confusion and anger, and something else, the first flicker of understanding that the script had changed. "Makena, control your children." Makena looked at him, really looked at him, saw him clearly for maybe the first time in years.
He wasn't handsome right now. He was small, mean, cruel in the way people are when they need someone beneath them to feel tall. And she was done being beneath him. "They don't need to be controlled," she said, her voice shaken but there. "They need to be heard. I should have heard them years ago." "What are you talking about?" Amani pulled out her tablet, the one they'd been using, opened the folder, 2 years of videos. "We recorded you," she said. "Every time you were mean to Mama. Every time you said she was fat or embarrassing or not enough. Every dinner, every comment, all of it." Taemin went very still. "You what?" "Show him," Makena said quietly. some old strength returning to her voice. "Show him what we've been living with." Amani turned the tablet around, pressed play. Taman's voice. "You've gained weight again. I can see it in your face. I thought we talked about this." Another clip. "You're not coming to the gala. I can't have you there looking like that." Another. "My clients don't need to know about your situation." Another. "Some women bounce back. Others, it takes longer." Clip after clip after clip. 2 years, dozens of moments, his voice, his face, his cruelty documented by 2 10-year-olds who understood what was happening even when their mother was too broken to name it. Emotional abuse, gaslighting, control, all there, time-stamped, undeniable. Taman's face lost all color. "You can't, those are private." "Nothing in this house is private when you make Mama cry in every room," Ayanna said. Her voice didn't shake. "We're done. All 3 of us. We're done." "You don't get to decide that. I'm your father. This is my house, my family." "Your family is leaving," Makena said, stronger now, standing straighter, the twins on either side of her like pillars. "We're leaving tonight." "You have no money, no job. Where exactly do you think—" "I have money," Makena said. "My own accounts, the ones you convinced me I didn't need to touch because you'd handle everything. I never closed them, and I'm still listed on my company's remote consultant roster. 1 phone call and I have work again." She'd forgotten. God, she'd forgotten. But it was true. She'd let everything go dormant but never fully severed. Some part of her, the part that used to wear yellow and plan cities, had known to keep one door open. "And," Amani added, "we're sending these videos to everyone." "What?" "Your business partners, your clients, everyone who thinks you're this great family man." Ayanna's voice was ice, 10 years old and made of ice. "They're gonna see who you really are." You can't." "We can," Makena said, "and we will, unless you give us what we need. Clean divorce, full custody, fair settlement. You signed, we leave quietly. The videos stay private." "You're blackmailing me?" "We're protecting ourselves," Makena corrected. "There's a difference." The silence stretched. Taman looked between his wife and daughters, calculating. He'd built his empire on calculated risks. This was a bad risk. Fighting would mean exposure. Fighting would mean those videos going public. Fighting would mean his carefully constructed image, legitimate businessman, family man, philanthropist, crumbling. All because he'd spent 10 years breaking his wife and his daughters had been watching. "Fine," he said finally, voice flat. "I'll sign." "Tonight," Ayanna demanded. "We're not staying here another night." Taman looked at Makena, really looked, saw something he probably hadn't seen in years, the woman who used to be strong, who was remembering how to be strong again. "You're making a mistake," he said quietly. "You'll fail without me. You always needed me to—" "No," Makena interrupted. "I needed you to stop destroying me. And now you will, because we're leaving." 3 months later, Makena stood in front of her mirror in her new apartment, smaller than the penthouse, so much smaller, but warm, full of light, full of their things, her things, the twins' things, art on the walls, yellow curtains in the kitchen, photos everywhere. She was wearing yellow again. Her hair was natural and free. Her body looked exactly the same as it had 3 months ago, still post-twins, still different from before, still carrying the weight of pregnancy and stress and depression. But she looked at it differently now. She looked at herself differently. The twins came up behind her, Ayanna and Amani, still identical, still 10, but somehow older, wiser, warriors who had saved their mother and was still figuring out what to do with that power. "You look happy, Mama," Amani said. Makena smiled, real smile, the kind that reached her eyes. "I'm remembering how," she said. "You two reminded me."
"What happens now?" Ayana asked. "Now?" Makena knelt down, looked at both her daughters. "Now we live, really live. I'm going back to work next month, consulting on a project in Mombasa. They're letting me work remotely from here. You two start new school next week." "Are you scared?" Amani asked. "Terrified," Makena admitted, "but also happy, actually happy, for the first time in 10 years. "What about him?" Ayana's voice went quiet. "What happened to his fortune?" Makena smiled, sharp, the smile of a woman who understood exactly what had happened. His business partners saw some of the videos, not all, just enough. They pulled funding from 2 major projects. His reputation, the whole perfect family man image he built, it's cracked badly. Money's leaving, clients are leaving. He's not destroyed, not yet, but he's bleeding. "Good," both twins said simultaneously. "But the best part?" Makena stood, looked at her daughters. "The best revenge isn't what happened to him, it's what's happening to us. We left. We took ourselves away from him. His perfect family image, gone. His beautiful mixed daughters he paraded around while hiding their mother, gone. The wife who stayed silent while he controlled everything, gone." She touched both their faces gently. "He built his fortune on looking like a good man, looking like someone people could trust, looking like he had it all together." Makena's smile grew. "Now everyone knows he couldn't even keep his own family. That's the fortune he lost, not money, legitimacy, respect, the ability to pretend." "And we just left," Ayana said wonderingly. "We just walked away." "You saved me first," Makena said quietly. "You reminded me I was worth saving. That was the hardest part. After that, leaving was easy." Taman called once, 2 weeks after they left. Makena almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. "I want to see the girls," he said, no greeting, straight to demand. "No." "They're my daughters. You have visitation rights, court-mandated, supervised, once a month. They don't want to use them, I won't force them." Silence. Then, "I made mistakes, I know that. I want to apologize, to all of you. I want my family back." Makena laughed, actually laughed. "You don't get to do that. You don't get to spend 10 years breaking someone and then apologize and expect them to come back. That's not how this works." "I'm trying." "You're trying now because you lost something, not because you're actually sorry. You're sorry you got caught, sorry it cost you. That's not the same as being sorry for what you did." "Makena, don't call me again unless it's about the girls' welfare, and even then, text. I don't want to hear your voice anymore." She hung up. The twins were watching from the kitchen doorway. "Was that him?" Amani asked. "Yes." "What did he want?" "To come back, to apologize, to have his family again." "What did you say?" Makena walked to her daughters, knelt between them, put an arm around each. "I said no. I said we're done. I said we're happier without him." She looked between them. "Because we are, aren't we?" Both twins nodded. Ayana spoke. "So much happier, Mama. You smile now. You wear yellow again. You're you." "I'm remembering how to be me," Makena corrected gently. "You two reminded me, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never forget who you are. Deal?" "Deal," they said together. I need a minute after that one. Makena forgot she was the happy one. For 10 years she forgot, and her daughters, 10 years old, had to remind her. That's the story, but here's what I keep thinking about. How many of us are Makena right now? How many of us have someone in our life who makes us forget who we are, who makes us smaller, quieter, less? And we think it's love. We think it's partnership. We think if we just try harder, just get thinner, just stay quieter, they'll see us the way they used to. They won't, because the way they see us has nothing to do with us. It's about their need to control, to diminish, to feel big by making us small. If you're in that right now, if someone is making you forget your own name, your own worth, your own light, I need you to hear this. You have a choice. It won't feel like you do. It will feel impossible. Leaving will feel like dying. But staying is dying too, just slower. Makena's daughters saved her, but not everyone has that. So I'm going to say what they said. You are enough, right now, in whatever body you're in, whatever mental health you're managing, whatever mistakes you've made. You are enough. If you need someone to tell you that every day until you believe it, we're here, this community. Comment, I am enough, right now. I'll read them. We'll remind each other. Hit the subscribe button if this story meant something to you, because we're building a space where Makenas remember their Makenas, where happy ones find their happiness again. Next story? I don't know what yet, but it'll be here, and so will I, and I hope so will you. Take care of yourselves, check on your people, and if someone makes you smaller, that's not love, that's not partnership, that's something else. And you deserve better. I'll see you next time.